I'm back from Palm Beach. Braggs is at Wrigley. Carm is in. Adam Rank will be here. Let's have a Friday. CHGO Bears starts right now. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast on this home opener Friday for the Chicago Cubs. Fortunately for you, this is a Bears podcast. So while Greg is with the 120 Club, and hi, Carm.
Hey there, Adam. Sorry, Greg normally puts out the tweet for the show, so I'm doing that right now. It's not a great move, but I'm also taking some shots at him right now. While the tweet will read, while at GBraggs23 celebrates with at CHGO Cubs, at Wrigley, at Adam Home, at the Carm are working hard. Anything else you want me to put in this tweet that I'm going to be telling the fine people to watch the show?
Yes, go Padres. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Go Pods. White Sox Hoge out of nowhere.
Yeah. Welcome into the show while Carm fires off that tweet so everybody can come join us with his D-Rose hoodie on today. I'm Adam Hoge. Yes, we got the 120 Club going on. For all of you who are not there live, you can hang out with us here on this Friday. We got quarterback news to talk about, of course. And hey, maybe you were at the 120 Club and you're listening to this later as a podcast. That's cool as well, too. Hit that like button. Please hit subscribe. We appreciate you guys very much for being here. I am back from Florida. Got a lot to still dish from the owners' meetings. It was a very productive week, I thought. I had a new newsletter go out this morning, by the way. Thoughts on every single offensive position group. Sort of kind of putting everything together from the combine through some of the conversations that were had in Florida this week, but I feel like I got a good grasp on where the roster is right now. What up, Big Dave in the background?
Big Dave just rocking on a Friday. The office is a little bit light on Friday, but we got the legends in here. We got the stars. I saw Big Dave in the alley downstairs. I offered him a coffee. He's like, no, I'm good. I already got my tea. He's talking to Tim Legler. He's going national today. Man, wow. Just crushing. Yep, no, great crushing. Bulls Blazers tonight. Yeah, 1992. Game 6. Greatest sporting event of my life. That's right. I was there, Chicago Stadium. That's right. Cried my eyes out. Yeah, no, come on. You want to? Adam Hoge.
wanted to say that real quick.
No, that's Big Dave. Big Dave is the coolest. But together we are pretty cool, though, I have to say. Love Big Dave. All right, hey, we got to jump into the Case Keenum conversation. And this is our Prize Picks Pick'em segment. Download the app today. Use code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code CHGO to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Carm. Backup quarterback competition. Who's your backup?
Well, first of all, if we're talking about competition, I would like to just throw the gauntlet down that in yesterday's competition of finding out that Case Keenum was going to be a part of the Bears, there was one winner and there was one loser. And the winner, of course, out here for you CHGO Bears fans, is me. As you see my amazing tweet, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're not watching on YouTube, it's up here. If I were a Bears fan wondering what's going to happen in the QB room, I'd keep a close eye on Case Keenum. That was at 5:33 p.m. yesterday. 5:40 p.m., 7 minutes later, an eternity in NFL breaking news. Adam Schefter, veteran quarterback Case Keenum, is signing a one-year deal worth up to $3 million with the Bears. Keenum now will help mentor Caleb Williams like he did for C.J. Stroud in Houston. Okay, couple things. One, that's 7, which, Brady, Carm.
You just went full Monica and Friends right there.
Yeah.
Which is a good way to celebrate, actually, scooping Adam Schefter by 7 minutes.
I mean, just, you know, for all the people that have just believed in me forever, the Pizzatolas of the world. There it is. 7 minutes. One of my greatest accomplishments in the history of news breaking. I got Jim Harbaugh wrong. Shouldn't bring that up right now, but I just did. I got Todd Haley right back in the day that he was going to be OC in Pittsburgh. And this was a good win yesterday. But going away from me to the actual Case Keenum situation. Let me ask you a question, Hoge. Do you think that Ryan Poles called up Tyson Bagent and told him that they were signing Case Keenum, if you had to guess?
Yes, because I'm going to go to the conversation that Adam Johns and I had with Ryan Poles on, what was that, Tuesday now? I think it was. And some of those comments I put in my newsletter this morning too, just on the quarterback room. But yeah, I mean, he made it very clear that Ben Johnson and himself, Ryan Poles, they did not rush into this decision. They had a very deep, long discussion about what's best for that quarterback room. JT Barrett's role in it. He's a former player too. Was considered an amazing leader when he was playing, even though he didn't play a ton in the NFL. And so the quarterback room dynamics, as Poles told us on Hoge and Johns, you can mess it up very easily too if you get the wrong guy. So they said they were going to be very, very particular. And I followed up and basically said, so that means you got to sign somebody that's embracing that role. And that role is, in this spot, Carm, to essentially be an extension of the coaching staff in that quarterback room. Poles specifically mentioned the idea that, okay, so JT Barrett, he might be able to bring that experience to that room too, as a former player who's still a young coach. But you got a game plan, you got your coaches' meetings. You don't spend as much time in the quarterback room as the actual quarterbacks do. So by having a veteran QB in there, in Case Keenum now, who can kind of be that extension of the coaching staff, that's just, sort of insulating and creating an extra layer of knowledge and expertise around Caleb Williams that, quite frankly, they lacked in that room last year. But getting back to your original question, it's also, even if it's not necessarily intentional competition for Tyson Bagent, it still is competition for Tyson Bagent, because Case Keenum's been a backup in this league for a long time. He's won games when he's gone out there as a backup, and he even had success when he was asked to be a starter, in Minnesota. So I think this is definitely something that was handled very delicately, that was communicated amongst everyone. And I also thought it was really notable too that Poles straight up said, if you're gonna, knowing the competitor that Tyson Bagent is, if you're gonna doubt him in any type of competition, you're probably gonna be wrong. You must have loved that quote.
I did. It was one of my favorite. I think it was my favorite moment of the Ryan Poles Hoge Johns interview. I absolutely loved that. And I would think that, sure, maybe there will be some level of competition, because there should be competition. This is the NFL. This is not house league between the two quarterbacks at 2 and 3. But I also think that Tyson Bagent is going to win that competition in a landslide, and Case's role will be to be a mentor for Caleb. And I think to me, it's an all-in move on getting the quarterback to the next level, which is in line with everything else they've done this year, from JT Barrett to Ben Johnson to Declan Doyle to the entire operation. So, and then we'll see, of course, what they do in the draft. Obviously, free agency has been very, very, very active in making things easier for Caleb. So, this falls in the same line. And if Case Keenum sees the field next year ahead of Tyson Bagent, we're going to have a riot on this show. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No, and I don't think that's really the outcome you want to have. Like, I think the way you're setting this up, if that's happened, then you've either had an injury somewhere, or or Tyson Bagent's taken a pretty, sizable step backwards, which I don't think anybody expects to happen. I think the way this is set up, the way you ideally want to play out, there's obviously no question Caleb Williams is your starter. Tyson Bagent is a young, promising, valuable backup. There's not too many backups around the league that are seemingly ascending with some value that are still developing, but are also, a good enough teammate, understanding their role and competitive as hell to consistently push that starter at the same time. Because I think there's a standard there that Bagent sort of already reached from more of the mental maturity standpoint at the quarterback position that Caleb can still rise to, if that makes sense. And then you have your third guy in Case Keenum that can kind of fill in that rest of that picture that they're lacking because the other quarterbacks in that room are so young.
So here's an interesting scenario that I hope does not play out. But last year, when you had bad offensive days, like the Seattle game late in the year, and they're not scoring, and that was a close game. But even in a blowout game where the game's over, they never took Caleb out in the fourth quarter and put Bagent in there. Hey, it's not your day. Let's just let's let Bagent throw the football. I will be interested. I obviously again hope this doesn't happen. But if the Bears offense is scuffling along, will they run out the game with Caleb? And if they ever put Bagent in like they did last year, they'll have him hand it off 3 times. Or would they at some point in a game like that allow 17 to play in a bad case scenario to see what he can do? That will be, to me, that's an interesting, they passed on it last year. I hope that doesn't happen this year, but if it does and they are scuffling, I wonder what the temperature will be to see what the other guy could do.
Well, that's all great in your Bagent world to think about hypothetically, but I don't think anybody needs to worry about that. And here's why.
I'm putting it out there. I'm putting that out there as a hypothetical on April the 4th. Save the tape, Steven. You too, Hoge. Go ahead.
Okay. But here's why you don't need to worry about this.
Okay.
No player in the NFL has had a better offseason than Caleb Williams. Go out and get the best offensive-minded head coach available. Check. Go get him a center. Check. All-pro left guard. Check. All-pro right guard. Check. Fill out the quarterback room with Case Keenum, a guy who was with CJ Stroud, helping him develop in Houston. Check. Good coaching staff all around, seemingly there. Check. Weapons, mostly already there. Check. Maybe the last piece to this puzzle would be another option at left tackle to compete. Another running back, dynamic running back that you potentially get in the draft. Has anybody had a better offseason than Caleb Williams? I don't think so.
Well, right. I completely agree. And the guy that I would say has had as good of an offseason, of course, is also the guy that's behind him, because hopefully he'll benefit from all that stuff too. It's a very good offseason for 17. But here, look, to your point though, Hoge, the left tackle thing could derail all of it if Braxton doesn't get healthy and Carman still sucks. You can't do this without a left tackle. So it is a major part of that whole equation that is, I think, that should keep Ryan Poles up at night, just wondering exactly how that's going to play out. And I know he likes Braxton. I do too. And I like Carman too. But very unproven and very injured. So that whole part of this thing it's a little nerve-wracking when you look at everything else that they've done.
Well, but I think that's not to just keep bringing this back to the Hogan Johns interview, but I did think that was another interesting part of that conversation because, these guys do tell you how much they still like Braxton Jones. And even Ben Johnson the other day was like, I loved Karan Amagashi coming out last year. Like, they're saying nice things about all this. But when push comes to shove, when you really lay it out there, that's all great. But one of those guys is extremely injured right now, and the other one still has a lot of development left to do. Exactly. And this is a very important piece of the puzzle. I mean, I did think it was notable that Ryan Poles was like, yeah, that's why we're seriously considering adding the left tackle spot. And that's why I think my guess right now is that if Will Campbell's still there at 10, I think the Bears would do that.
Okay, so let's advance that one step further. Will Campbell's there. Ashton Genty's there. Tyler Warren's there. An edge that they like is there. Whatever. They like Mason Graham too. He's there. You think Campbell? I'm not. Obviously, that's unlikely that all that will be there. But if in that scenario, do you still think Will Campbell's the pick?
I don't mean to cop out on the question, but I think the way that they would handle it, if you're asking me what I would do, I would probably draft Will Campbell, but my board is not going to be what their board looks like. What I still think that they would do is, you know what? Let's table this for 2 seconds, because this was actually one of my top takeaways of the week too, which we're going to talk about here in this next segment.
New pivot. It's called Tabled for Two. Table for two on CHGO Bears. Perhaps only on Fridays. Table for two. Tabled.
All right. We're going to table it. First, let's thank some sponsors here on the show as well. Sunnyside, you know what Sunnyside is at this point. They've been with us for a while now. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside is everything you need to elevate this upcoming summer. Oh, summer. Can't wait. Felt like summer in Florida this week, that's for sure. Hey, your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from. Easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city, Wrigleyville, River North, to the suburbs, Champaign, South Beloit, and more. If you're starting out, Sunnyside is expert guidance, brands we know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's. And if you're a pro, they've got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu, new ones added daily. So visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
And just like your favorite team, like the Cubbies today at Wrigley, they need the home court, the home field, the home ice advantage. Give yourself the home floor advantage. That's what I'm talking about. These are my guys. I absolutely love the people at Empire today. They are the flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Empire today, big box stores, don't do that. You want the Empire. You want to go home floor. You want Empire coming to you. You want the best bet on a new floor. Empire today, they live and they breathe flooring. They'll be with you every step of the way. And that's right. It's a whole different ballgame, baby, when you do it with Empire. With Empire today, you get the clear upfront all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. How sweet is that? Do yourself a favor. Give yourself the home floor advantage. Give yourself a schedule and give yourself scheduling yourself a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, get yourself a $350 discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard that right. $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. Can't wait to get my own home floor advantage here with Empire today.
So we now have the GM on record is sort of explaining the talent available in this draft, basically confirming what we've talked about here, which is there's a very condensed group of what they call blue players. Another way of thinking of that is like your blue chip, top of the board. These are your Travis Hunter players, right, in the draft this year. And then when we hear about all this depth that exists, I think it's important to realize, though, that I feel like there's a lot of second round. I like to call the second round a place where you can get a lot of just good starters. A lot of players who are ready to play early, not necessarily developmental guys, but they're not the blue players. And I feel like the second round talent this year goes from, well, what polls described it as somewhere in the single digits all the way to 50, 60, 70. So that puts the Bears in a very interesting spot at 10. I'm just going to throw out a hypothetical number. I have no idea what the Bears board looks like. Obviously, it's not finalized. But let's say, Carm, they have 7 blue players right now. on their board.
Okay.
Then they got to be ready for scenarios in which one of those guys hopefully falls at 10 and is still available. That's usually more likely when more quarterbacks push up the board early. And I'm not sure that's this year. Or they got to be ready for scenarios where they're all gone. And you might want to trade back, except now you have that same problem and that everybody's looking at this talent pool the same way. They're not necessarily excited to move up because they see the same value in the 20s as you do at number 10. That can leave you stuck. And that might be how this plays out for the Bears. But where I'm going with this, Carm, to get back to what your original question was, if they view Ashton Jeanty or Tyler Warren as a blue player, which I think would be a defensible way to view those players at their positions, but they don't necessarily view Will Campbell as a blue player. And again, I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just trying to create a hypothetical. Do I think they're going to take the left tackle at that spot, or the last blue player still available on their board? I think they take the blue player. Don't you? You take the best player available. If that's really, would you just spent a whole year scouting out to spit out your board the way you did it? Trust it. Take that player.
Yeah, I think they will. And they've been talking a whole lot lately about best player available, how what they've done in free agency or has allowed them to now sit here and do BPA, the old best player available, which is the way to build a football team or any team for that matter. You want supremely talented players on your roster. The thing is, though, I mean, they might look at Will Campbell as the best player available. They might love him to that level. They might think he's an elite left tackle. And that could be, in their mind, even more valuable than the running back. Although I think even in today's, we outlined it deeply about how much running the football in today's NFL right now matters as far as winning games. Teams that were, the 6 teams in the top 10 in rushing last year made the playoffs last year, the Vikings, Packers included. So it is a big part of what's going on right now. And this is a copycat league. So that's why if Jeanty's there and they love him to the level that a lot of people love him, I would think that would be the pick, because you do have a need right there. And Ben Johnson has said things like, we're not drafting a running back, we're drafting a weapon. That dude's a weapon. But I don't know. Who knows how they look at this. If they pick Will Campbell at 10, that's because they think he's a primetime starter, I would think, at left tackle. It's not somebody that they can just, if it doesn't work out here with Braxton, we're going to slide him in and that's all cool and whatnot. I think it's more of they think he's a big-time talent.
Yeah, I think probably most around the league are now looking at Will Campbell as an exception to the arm length rule. But I also think that anybody drafting him is also going to understand that there are going to be moments. I'm forgetting.
You could while you think about that, let me just give you a side note on polls. Let me finish that thought, because I'm like Khalil Mack in 2018 made a lot of very good left tackles look silly because he was able to use, his insane combination, but especially that long arm move he had to create leverage. So my point is that Will Campbell is I think going to be a good left tackle. But is he going to be perfect all the time? No, I think there are going to be times where that arm length becomes an issue, but I don't know that it's enough for you to just pass on the guy. Like, I think you take him, you accept what he is, you have a lot of success with him, and you bring him help when you need to sometimes. Yeah. Look, I moved back to, I have no idea. I don't have a good feel what the Bears are going to do at all. Could very well be Will Campbell. Maybe they're not worried about the arm length. Could very well be the running back. Could very well be the tight end. Tyler Warren flying up boards. And some people think that both Warren and Jeanty are going to be gone going 6 and 7, which wouldn't be great. Maybe those are their 2 top guys and they don't love Will Campbell, and Shedeur Sanders drops to 10 and Poles sees an opportunity to trade back a couple of spots. And then you can, add on another pick. to all the depth that he's talking about. It's, he's mentioned trading back. I just don't have a great sense of what's going to happen here. I wish I did.
I guess, and that's one of my takeaways from the week. And maybe I'm guilty of putting too much credence in, things that were, because I said this earlier in the week when I was in Florida. Like I thought Ben Johnson did a really good job of talking about Tyler Warren and Ashton Genty and all these positions. Like, yeah, they're all good. So really, we're not giving any secrets away by talking about all of them. But I also think that, look, we know they're considering all of them. I think they're all realistic possibilities. I don't think any of these guys, Will Campbell, Ashton Genty, or Tyler Warren, these guys that we end up talking about sort of endlessly, are just off the board and we're wasting our time talking about it. I think the Bears are in a very interesting spot at 10 that this could go in a number of different ways. And it makes our jobs harder this year in trying to like predict how it actually will play out. So that's really one of my big takeaways from the week.
Great takeaway. Sorry. Sorry. I thought my mic was having some level of dysfunction here that I didn't understand, but we're good.
All right, I'll get to some more. I got more. Don't worry.
It's cool. I just if you ask Ryan Poles right now, like I thought it was interesting in the interview to what you're talking about right now. He's got he underlined. I have no idea how this board is going to go. I have no idea how 1 through 10 is going to go. So a lot of like Poles. I think when you look at what he was saying last year, they were very much dialed in. We're going to draft Torrey in the 4th, and when we get into the 5th, they were pretty much they believed that Booker was going to be there. They thought they could make a trade to do it, and that's exactly what happened. It played out the way he thought it would. So he seems to go into this with a pretty methodical plan of how he wants to do things. Last year, it seemed like they thought they were going to get Braylon Trice at 75. He went 1 pick in front to Atlanta at 74, and then it almost like they had to throw a dart on Amagaju. They obviously liked, but it felt like that was not what he was expecting to have happen in that moment. But it happened, and now you're kind of left with this developmental tackle that has really, you wonder if he's ever going to get on the field with the Bears because of the position that they're in. But other than that, it's like he's pretty he's a planner, this Ryan Poles is, that, and I guess all GMs are, but I think there's a way in which he really hones in on what he wants to do way ahead of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's also sort of easier to do in the later rounds when your board might be down to like literally 5 players that you're totally in love with, and you might be in the 4th round. So you're dealing with draft capital that's just not as expensive. So you can be willing to be like, well, let's do everything we can right here to get one of these 5 players. I think that's a little different when we're talking about, some of the top talent at the top of the draft, but that's where it started this whole conversation though, at the beginning of the segment, where if I had to guess right now, I think the amount of blue players that they believe are out there is fewer than 10. So, and if it's 8, okay, and that doesn't include the quarterbacks, well, okay, then you need 2 quarterbacks to go. And if it's 7, well, nice. Now you're hoping that somebody's in love with Jackson Dart, does something crazy, which is always possible. If it's 6, now you're like, oh man, you might be really in trouble in terms of getting one of those guys. And so then I guess that's when you start having conversations about possibly trading up if you really want one of those guys.
I'll play the Braggs role here. Jackson Dart's incredible. You need to come up and get him. Jackson Dart's amazing. Rank loves him too, by the way. Adam Rank coming up in a couple of minutes here. I can see him in the waiting room. I'm getting it's hard to stay focused with Rank in the waiting room here. But Dart's amazing. You got to come up to 10 and get him, or 9, or wherever, or just draft him, period. That guy is going to be the next Bo Nix.
There it is. Well, he might be in the draft in terms of team that surprises everybody. All right. Well, you know what also is really good?
What's really
Sam
good?
Adams. Sam Adams, American Light. Yeah. Yep. Light beer just got better. Introducing Sam Adams American Light. It's clean, it's crisp, it's super easy to drink. If I were out near Wrigley Field right now, getting ready for this 120 game, That's probably what I would be drinking. No gimmicks, no fluff. Sam Adams American Light. It's not your average light beer. It's brewed with 100% American sourced ingredients from local independent farmers. Light beer that's made right. Light beer shouldn't feel like a compromise. An American classic so smooth, you'll want to crack open another one. It's always Sam season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light. Available now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
We are deep into the second half of the basketball season. Race to the playoffs. Bulls are, of course, jockeying for that play-in position. It's all heating up, and the place to cash in, Prize Picks. That's right, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. And hey, when you sign up today, you get $50 instantly when you play your first $5. You do not need to win. You get that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, the best way to get in on the action. More than 30 states, including right here. The app, super easy to use. You create a lineup. All you got to do, pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money, depending on how aggressive you get here. More or less, though, that's all you got to do. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports, which is super fun. You can go basketball, over to baseball, over to hockey, over to esports. All the goodies are there for you. Download the app today. Use the code CHGO. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, download that app today. Use the code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
All right, it's Friday. It's time to bring in our guy, Adam Rank. Always looking sunny and bright, ready to go from California. What's going on, Adam?
What's happening? Yeah, you know what? I use the natural lighting here in the studio, much like Wrigley Field before 1988. We play under the sunlight here in sunny Southern California.
Rank, what do you think about Carm beating Schefter to the Case Keenum news yesterday by 7 minutes? Can you tell Schefter that I'm on him, that I'm coming for him?
I love that. I loved every moment of that. I feel like that's one where our team wins. You know, it's like, hey, we're sort of the Washington Generals to his Harlem Globetrotters. I don't know, Carm, do you have agents feeding you stuff, or are you just a man with his finger on the pulse?
I cannot reveal the level of which I attained certain information, but I mean, listen, all the agents want to talk to me, all the coaches want to talk to me, players want to talk to me. I mean, my phone is. It's nonstop how often it's ringing here. I don't even know how I do this job, honestly. To focus for an hour with you guys is, I'm amazed by myself. I'm just that incredible.
Did Adam give you the Carm has it first or no? Was there a little love there or no?
No.
No. Like that's a big thing. We've seen this so much with these guys. Now, like every time like Garofalo or somebody, even Tom does this. Like, Jared Jabransky of Athletes First. You're like, why are we're crediting the agents now? So we got to give the agents pub. And it's very selective when you have these guys, like whether it's Schefter or whomever, even if it's Ian, you know, like who they will acknowledge had it first. And if it's Carm, if it's Hot Dog Bob or whomever, you have to be in like some sort of elite club before they will acknowledge that they were beaten. They don't want to do it. They don't want to sit there and they don't want to acknowledge it. It's like a comic, like some famous comics who steal bits and they get called out on it. And like, oh, I never heard that before. Like, okay, don't be that guy. Couldn't throw Carm a little love.
Yeah, right. Jeff Pastor would have given me love. That guy's great at the hat tip. Shefty. You know, I mean, just come on. Pastor.
So what he's saying here is
I'm not.
Frank's telling you, you got to get out of the Hot Dog Bob bucket. We got to
elevate your status.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I appreciate riding with Hot Dog Bob. I'm not looking to leave Hot Dog Bob. That's my guy.
You know Hot Dog Bob. He's at the United Center tonight slinging hot dogs.
Wait, hold on. Hot Dog Bob is like a legitimate account. I don't know. He's usually breaking Angels news. And said one time he broke the gym. I got in trouble last year because I retweeted. Whenever Harbaugh was hired, he was the one who broke it. And I retweeted him. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, Hot Dog Bob says that Jim Harbaugh's going to the Chargers.
Well,
and they're like, you can't, like, you got to wait for, I'm like, I don't have to do anything. You don't pay for my blue check mark. I pay for it. So I'll do as I please and go about it that way. But yeah, no love for Carm, and I'm upset about it.
We can get back on track here, but just speaking of Hot Dog Bob, and I don't know, I'm taking a risk here. I think this might work. Yeah, it's not. Well, no, it does. Look at what Hot Dog Bob's saying right now. I assume you're live right now. Tell Greg I'm buying the visitor dugout if he needs a beer. That's what Hot Dog Bob does. You think I want to be Schefter doesn't do that. Hot Dog Bob right there. Hey, Braggs, I sent him the tweet. There's a beer waiting for you. That's what we do over here. Get yourself a Sam Adams American beer right there from Hot Dog Bob or the Vooch, one of the two. Vucci.
Shout out to the gnocchi that you referenced in that other text too. Got me hungry here.
He was screaming at me because we didn't do the mayor of Arlington Heights' name right the other day.
Oh.
That was a bad job by us.
Wait, you got it wrong too?
We started wrong. Tengalia, I think.
Tengalia.
Yeah, I think that's.
You still
right.
Don't know. Okay.
No, I don't. And he's
still not confident with what you're saying.
He's coming on the show.
Right.
We're gonna get the mayor on the show. It's
The
gonna be
mayor
good.
of Arlington Heights is coming on the show.
The new mayor. The new mayor rank. This is big.
Is he Italian? Did you say?
Yes, he is.
Okay, then this deal's done. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
It is very much.
We're good.
Carm promised the Chicago mayor, a long time ago, and we're still waiting on that.
Yeah, that hasn't happened. I try. No one has tried harder, but
I don't blame you on that one though. I don't even think Schefter would have gotten him, so you don't have to feel too bad about that. All right. Rank, we're gonna have our he's gonna have his list here, his Friday list, which we might have a new name for. Ranks a lot.
Ranks a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's your call. Let's pause that for a second though, before we get into to the ranks a lot this week. If that's what we're rolling with, I'm not sure if we are.
I love it. Listen. Okay. There's been so many different variations on my name, and by the way, I feel like it's important to once again reiterate my given name. My birth certificate name is Rank. People ask from time to time, they're like, is this a stage name? And I go, yeah, it would be too on the nose to be a stage name. What's your name? Adam Fantasy Football. Like, nah, it's too on the nose. It is a legitimate Irish. Actually, no, Scottish Bear pointed out it's a Scottish name. A lot of things are unfolding here. Like I knew we had Scottish lineage, but it's a Scottish name. I found out I was from Hoffman Estates, not from Schaumburg. Like, a lot of things are blowing my mind now, so why not pile on here?
That's what when you start coming on this show, we start to go into family lineage and we expose secrets that people don't even want to know about. We go deep here. That's what we do here on CHGO. Hey, okay, before we get to this week's rankings, I know you were sitting there kind of listening to some of the show before you jumped on. Did you have any reaction to not just things we were talking about, but anything that you thought came out of the owners' meetings this week that you thought was especially interesting?
Well, I wanted to go back to when you were talking about Will Campbell, and I think Mason Graham's going to run into this as well. Two things that could end up benefiting the Bears is we, as a society, we get away from watching people play football and being like, hey, this guy's excellent, and instead go to the underwear Olympics and determine this guy's 40 times too slow. His arm's not quite long enough. I don't like his hand size or things like that. Instead of judging it about the thing that they're about to do, they go out there. Like if you sat here and you didn't see me swing a golf ball, but you're like, you know what? I like the hat that he's wearing, so he must be good. Like things that don't matter sometimes play into this, and I think it's going to end up benefiting the Bears. I remember years ago when Cooper Kupp was coming out of Eastern Washington, and he was fantastic, had all these numbers, went and played in the Senior Bowl, and the whole workout, we obviously broadcast this on NFL Network. You're like, Cooper Kupp's amazing. This guy should go in the first round. Goes to the combine. His 40 times a tick slow. So he falls to the third round. Goes on to play for the Rams. Super Bowl MVP. Great player. And I think with Will Campbell and Mason Graham both, they're going to benefit. We could possibly benefit from either one of those guys falling to us. And I'm actually starting to put together my mock draft. And I'm like, you know what? There's enough weird things that could go on in this draft that would allow one or maybe both of those guys to fall to us. I really do believe, I'm starting to come around to the fact that Ashton Genty and Tyler Warren will both be gone, which will end up making sure that somebody like Will Campbell or Mason Graham falls. And I think at that point, you just pounce on them. I don't care what the arm length is. I don't care what their favorite meal is at Portillo's. I know that they're good football players, and that's good enough for me.
That's why one of my favorite comments that was made this week was when I was talking to Ben Johnson in the interview at CHGO earlier in the week, and he said, like, the way he does it is he watches the tape, okay, and then if he sees an issue in the tape, then he'll go to the numbers to see if the numbers either confirm or perhaps push against that concern that he's seen. But at the end of the day, if the tape's mostly flawless, no tape's flawless, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Then not going to be too concerned about what the number at the Underwear Olympics. Shout out to Fitz, who always calls it that too, Pat Fitzgerald. That's how you should do this. I feel very strongly about that.
No, I agree, and I like that approach, and I think that I think anybody who's strictly analytics and somebody who's strictly just everything is available to you. You might as well make the most of it, but it's how you use it. And when Ben was explaining it the way that he did, I think that it makes the most sense. And I think that's a healthy approach, and I think it's going to end up allowing us to hit on a lot more picks moving forward.
Let me just pin you down here, Adam Rank, if I may, in a high school wrestling freshman B, Carm versus Rob Ginsburg battle to the death here. Actually, this is not a battle at all. This is an easy one. If everybody that we've named is available at 10, who are you taking?
Including like Ashton Genty and Tyler Warren and everybody.
Yep.
The player I feel like would benefit us the most, I think Tyler Warren would end up benefiting us the most. And it's kind of like in a fantasy football sense of drafting a position where the gap between Tyler Warren, and I know Loveland's good too, but the gap between those guys and the next tight end is greater than the gap between Ashton Genty and the next great running back, Will Campbell and the next tackle. And I think the scarcity would have me going with Tyler Warren. I would not want to pass him up. I said this last year when I did my mock draft with a twist, which is it's not a predictive piece. This is what you guys got to get out of. Don't do predictive pieces. This is what this team should do. When I do mine, it's always on that guys. Now, I think that Jacksonville would be a great spot for Tyler Warren. And if I was advising the Jags, I'd be like, this is who you need. Evan Ingram's gone. Go get this tight end. But if he were available to the Bears, that would be my strongest recommendation.
Yeah, I like that. It's there's something about this draft class this year that has me like just almost on a daily basis, sort of flip-flopping between all these guys, and really at the end of the day, the Bears are going to be at the mercy of how those first 9 picks go, and I think that this is a little bit more unpredictable than usual when it comes to that, and it's just they're gonna have to prepare for a lot of different scenarios.
I'll give you another hypothetical / it's not even hypothetical. Just right now, if the Bears hadn't beaten the Packers last week of the season, they'd be drafting 7 and not 10. Would you give up that win to be picking 7 with everything here? So
absolutely not. There's not a chance. I would move down to 15 to beat the Packers.
Come on.
In the way that they did. You know, this is the one thing about Caleb Williams, and I was on Fox Sports this week, and I said Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in this division. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Caleb Williams does not get credit for the rally against the Packers the first time, the rally against the Vikings, the rally against the Lions. Hell, the rally against the Commanders. Like that, like he should have beaten Jaden Daniels head to head. So if you look at it and Caleb has five comeback wins, he runs away with the Rookie of the Year. I think for his mental fortitude and for the vibes of the offseason, we needed that victory more than we needed the number 7 overall selection. And so I will never give up that win. I will never apologize for it. I will never apologize for being happy about it. I think fans too often get into this whole thing of like, well, if we would have lost every game, we could have had the first pick in the draft and we could have Abdul Carter. Would you give up every win last season to get Abdul Carter? You're now playing a game that's fast and loose with your emotions. Think of where you were in that. I'm sure Carm was actually pissed when the field goal was made. Like, damn it, we lost. Just knowing. I will never apologize for that, and I will never give up that win. You will never. And there's a great chance that Caleb Williams never loses in Lambeau, and I want to keep that streak intact.
Ooh, the never lose in Lambeau. I like that.
A great chance of it too. Look, I'm 100% in agreement with you on that one, Adam. Like, I'll go back to something the way you were just putting something different a few minutes ago. But like the difference to me between the 7th and the 10th pick, is it's just not as big to me as the difference between you beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
And not only it almost didn't even, it does matter that it's Green Bay, but you had to finish a game like that and not have yet another game get away from you that you were in position to win, which was a theme the whole season. Get the kick to go in, beat your rival, then go hire a head coach who gets up to the podium and takes a shot at the Packers head coach, who, one of my other big takeaways from this week, very much in Matt LaFleur's head.
Yeah.
That is a real thing. There is a rivalry back on with the Bears beating the Packers, hiring Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur's reaction. This is gonna be fun. And to me, that matters a hell of a lot more than the difference between the 7th and the 10th pick.
Yeah, there was something great about the way he did that too. And I've mentioned this before, but like a lot of times these coaches come in, and I think Eberflus did this, and Nagy probably did too. Like there's a template of like, hey, I love deep dish pizza. I would never put ketchup on a hot dog, and beat the Packers. And Matt Nagy is still saying that right now. But what Ben Johnson did was call out Matt LaFleur personally. It wasn't like, well, I want to beat the Packers. Nope. I enjoy beating Matt LaFleur. Called out that coiffed eyebrowed coach, the guy in the Lululemon on the sidelines, called him out. Did not mince words. We need that kind of energy in Chicago. And people be like, hey, win. And that's the thing. By beating them in week 18, go, why don't you beat them? See, now we just beat you in week 18. So you can't even go to like, beat us for it. We just did. We've never lost to you in 2025. Caleb Williams has never lost in your dumb stadium. And so we can say all that stuff. Rivalry is back on. So
I love you guys, and I think this is totally adorable, and everybody in the chat is with you, and I'll risk being the unpopular guy here. If Tyler Warren goes out to be a Hall of Famer and he's picked 7, and we end up with Will Campbell and his short arms don't make it, I am playing this tape back to you on replay for the rest of the time, because that would – but hopefully that won't happen. The Bears will get their guy. And to your point, and I thought that it was a couple of people made the point in the chat, the mentality, the grace, the excitement that it gave Caleb and the Bears, hopefully there's going to be a ton of value in that. If they hadn't won the game, they'd be sitting there right now, 11 losses in a row. It would be a weight on the team to start next season. That part of it, even more so to me than beating Green Bay and dunking on the Packers, which is of course is sweet, but that whole thing, carrying that around, that weight, I wouldn't want that on the team. So that part of it is a big win.
Listen, like you never know. And sometimes you're better off not. What if the Bulls picked 2nd in, 84? And we're like, well, maybe we will take Sam Bowie instead of letting Michael. What if that happens?
Well,
what if some team picks Ashton Genty and he turns into Blair Thomas? I missed it. I lost everybody there. Look him up. Look up Blair Thomas. It's a great story. It actually helped launch a dynasty in the 1990s. But what if Will Campbell's a Hall of Famer who we wouldn't have taken, but we had to at number 10? The reverse can also happen. I'll play this tape back. I'll be like, oh, look at this. Carm wanted to lose to the Packers, take the wrong player, and we'll bring this tape back.
Yeah.
In general, when I'm sitting at 4-12, I'd probably rather go to 4-13 and get the higher pick 99.99999% of the time. But this is adorable and cute, and which is why I brought it up.
It's
By
not
the way,
adorable. No, it's about a mindset. It's about I feel like this is the butterfly effect. What if Ben Johnson would have seen the Bears fold again and been like, you know what, maybe I'll go to Jacksonville. Maybe I'll go coach the Raiders. What if that would have turned him off? Been like, I don't think I trust this team. Maybe that's the butter. Much like Tyreek Stevenson won Rookie of the Year for Jaden Daniels, that win might have landed us Ben Johnson. You never know how history would have been.
That's an interesting one, by the way. If you go back and if the Hail Mary doesn't happen, the Flus is still here.
Oh God, that's actually the worst, because we would have went to what, 5-2, and I don't know what would have happened in Arizona. But I don't think that we would have folded against the Patriots, which gives us 6 wins. Maybe we miracle another one. If we get to 7-8 wins, like, it's very justifiable to be like, hey, this team turned a corner once they fired Shane Waldron. Things are trending in the right direction. Let's keep the continuity. So that actually, I think that.
Yeah, especially if he had also beaten Green Bay in the final week of the season as well.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
If you follow the logic there, you just came over to Carm's side of the street, losing. Not even
completely different. Different movies. Completely different movies.
Saw a little.
Carm.
Yeah,
Carm. We're gonna, instead of
99.999%. It's adorable that you have this train of thought, Carm. Mm-hmm. It's very cute. It's precious.
Thank you.
A lot of train of thought. It's cute. Yeah. All right. Before we let Adam go,
hold on. Don't F the production meeting. We're fine. I'll go to the top of the hour. I came in late, so thank you, Steven, for looking out for me. But I've already I called in on my way in here to the studio, my studio today, and sorted everything. So
is that how you worded it to them too? F the production meeting?
Yeah, I'm a big F the production meeting person. I'm like, why am I in this production meeting? Like, it's funny. I'm like, you guys, I'm in one block. Like, can we do this ahead of time? And then today is actually a day where I'm on twice. And I'm like, hey, can I do this early? And so I call up Mac, and he's like, okay. And you can tell he's at his computer and he's just typing away. And I'm giving out my terrible stuff, my terrible takes, and we call it a show. We call it The Insiders on NFL Network.
Yeah,
great show. Let's go.
Where and when can we watch that terrible show, The Insiders?
What time is it on?
Terrible at all.
6 Central.
6
7
Eastern.
Eastern.
Great show. You know what they do that I appreciate? This is a true story. They podcast that show, and I actually will listen to it in my long commute sometimes, just to soak in all the great information.
It is a good show. Our insiders, I know that I was sitting there and I was making fun of Schefter earlier. Schefter does a great job too, and there's no disrespect to him.
This is an opportunity, Rank. I apologize for interrupting you here, but you get in that production meeting, you say whoever brings up Case Keenum, because I'm sure you're going to lead the show with Case Keenum today. Credit Mark Carman.
Oh God, I'm talking, because we my new signature bit that we like, and I always, you know me now. I love to make signature bits, and we're like, what were they thinking? Or what are they thinking? What do they think? What are they thinking? And one of the things we're going to hit on is the Arlington Heights thing. And so I will bring up, by the way, Case Keenum signed with the Bears. Nobody credited Mark Carman for breaking the news, and I'm very upset. Now, a show called The Insiders, we will do that. Oh, by the way, can I say one other thing too with our vast audience here? A couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I cut a promo with Seth Rollins on Good Morning Football, and I was telling a story like how my dad went to go watch the Bears at Comiskey Park, and these Chicago people were like, the Bears never played at Comiskey, and I'm like, check the record books. There was a team in Chicago called the Cardinals who played their games at Comiskey Park, and my dad, who was fresh off the boat from World War II, working at a bar in Michigan. I forget, it was State Street, Michigan Avenue, North Wacker. I don't remember the bar. He's like, we couldn't afford to go to games at Wrigley Field, so we'd go down to Comiskey because it was easy to get into those games, and we would watch the Bears beat the Cardinals. So yes, the Bears did play games. They were not the home team, but they did play. They did play games at Comiskey. Check yourself, people.
Yes.
Like I'm going to sit here and not know my history. Get out of here.
Well, and let me add on to that because me and Hoge's guy back in the day when we were doing the WGN Bears postgame show, Ed O'Bradovich, who grew up here in that time frame. He used to go to Cardinals games. My dad would take me to the Cardinals games. Nobody went. You could get in for 5 cents. But yep, one a world champion 1963 Bear used to go to the Cardinals games as a kid at Comiskey Park. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yep, true story.
Right. We are going to get to the segment though. Ranks a lot right now because when your name is Adam Rank, you ranks a lot. You have to.
Ranks a lot. Credit to, I don't know if this was Steven or Greg or whoever came up with it. Great job.
It was actually one of our commenters.
Yeah,
oh, really? Very nice.
If you're in the chat, please say who you are so you get proper credit here.
There it is. Yeah, you didn't Schefter it by just taking credit. Way to go.
That's right.
Bragg.
All right, Adam.
Creative.
Well, I'm definitely not either. I'm terrible when it comes to naming segments and shows and stuff. That's why that's why my other show is just called Hoge and Johns. I don't know. It's just their names.
Bragg's in the stands. Who came up with that?
Yeah.
That's good.
All right,
no, that's a good one.
All right, Adam, what are we doing this week?
Oh yeah, you know what? I got to. I guess I got to hustle through this, but I wanted to do a little ode to Val Kilmer, one of my favorite actors. And Aaron Nagler was the one who tweeted out the news, and it was on April 1st. And I'm like, Aaron, if this is your idea of a joke, but knowing Aaron well enough, I'm like, I knew he wasn't messing around. Aaron and I are very similar with our taste in music. The only thing we differ on, I think, is sports teams. So I wanted to take an opportunity right now to go through my personal ranking of Val Kilmer movies. And it's time for Ranks a Lot, everybody. At number 5, I'm going to go. I hope good. We were able to change it. I had the Doors here. I actually had the Saint, then I had the Doors. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot he was in Heat. Val Kilmer is in so many great movies that you forget. You forget a ton of them. So number 5 was Heat. Number 4, his Batman movie. I'm going to say for a number of reasons. Number 1, he was an underrated Bruce Wayne. I think that was very good. It also had Kiss from a Rose by Seal on the soundtrack, which already makes it an epic movie. At number 3 is a kid who grew up in the 80s, who did a segment called The Danger Zone. Top Gun is obviously going to be on this list. It's the whole reason I got into volleyball. So Top Gun is my number 3 movie. And number 2 is a great movie. And I actually saw this in the theater at the Showcase Theater in Corona, California, the same place that once hosted that eventually would go on to become a punk rock venue. And I saw Blink 182 there. So I saw Can't Buy Me Love, this movie, and Blink 182 at the Showcase Theater in Corona, California. Real genius. Underrated movie, underrated performance by Val Kilmer, who plays like the smart alecky wise guy that you see a lot of, like Ryan Reynolds will play. But he comes off as a more genuine big brother to the title character, and is really good. And so for number 1, this will shock a lot of people, and Greg was upset by this. I'm going to go Top Secret, which is one of my favorite all-time movies, one of the most quotable movies of all time. Wow. If anybody remembers, there's a scene with the guy, he's like, souvenirs, novelties, party tricks. I'm at the New York Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas one time, and the cigarette girl comes by, and I say that line, and the guy sitting at first base on the blackjack table goes, "You dropped your phony dog poo." And I'm like, "What phony dog poo?" And we had a moment. We went out and made some money. So those are my top 5 Val Kilmer movies. And I know a lot of people will be like, I love Tombstone. And I understand that. Tombstone's a great movie. If you want to talk about acting performances, one of the greatest. However, I'm more of a comedy guy, and I'm not a Western guy, even though I like it. And listen, Tombstone's a fine movie. It's great. It's not any one of those other 5 movies I will stop and watch. Tombstone is hit or miss for me. I'm sorry, no disrespect. If you like Tombstone, please continue to like Tombstone. Go make your own list, and I will be like, okay, that's very good. I like when people can just be like, oh, I see your list. I like Tombstone more. I'm like, okay, like Greg did it today. And they're like, oh yeah, like that movie just isn't one of my favorites. Like, I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm not going to do it. It's kind of like if you go to Portillo's, like you don't yell at somebody who's like, you didn't double dip your Italian beef. Who are you? But I think the internet gives people that thing. Like you can just share and be like, oh, I like Tombstone more. I'm like, I appreciate you. It did not make my list.
That's a great way to go into the weekend. You don't have to yell at everybody about everything. You can just agree to disagree and have your own list.
Like going back to talking about Aaron Nagler. Like we love like the Depeche Mode and all this stuff. I do not like the Green Bay Packers, but I can still love the man. And I think that we can all disagree or we can all agree. Like I would love to see everybody's list of Val Kilmer movies because I would like people to celebrate it and go out there and watch your favorite Val Kilmer movie this weekend and have a good time and also watch The Insiders. And then now I truly have to go.
We love you, Adam. It's all been said in the chat. I talked to our guy Lawrence Benedetto, former elite producer. I asked him, he's a big movie guy. What's your favorite Val Kilmer role? He's like, oh, come on, Doc Holliday. And I was like, and I'll throw myself under the bus here. I'm like, yeah, what movie is that from? And that's when he lost his mind. And so I need to see Tombstone. It's on the list.
It's not that it's a bad movie. And hippie nerd is like, people love Tombstone. Love it.
I haven't even seen it. I need to go see it, I guess.
I don't think that you have to see every movie. Like, not everybody has to agree on the same movie. I'm sorry that I like Top Secret better. I'm an idiot. I get it. But it's all good.
All right, Adam, go get your meeting. We appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys. Thanks for having me.
You're the best, Rank. See you.
We'll see you next week.
All right, there he is, Adam Rank on this Friday. And got some things to close out the show with here. Some shout outs. I know we got a lot of super chats as well. Should I tell my Joe Buck story?
You should. You absolutely should. Yes.
Okay. All right. So for those that don't know, the part of the, they cover a lot of ground at the NFL annual meeting. That's the official name of it, called the owners meetings, because it is the owners meetings, but it's the NFL annual meeting. And they've like all their committees. And so part of that is obviously broadcasting, right? So usually like the main, like the top broadcasters that you see do NFL games are typically at these meetings. Now, to set this up, Joe Buck has been there before, but I've never actually gone up and talked to him. And this year, my wife's there with me, and she's like, "Come on, we gotta go say hi to Joe Buck." And here's why: because 5 years ago, during the pandemic, when the sports world was shut down, there were no games. So if you're Joe Buck, you're any of these play-by-play guys, like there's nothing to call. So he did this cool thing on the internet, good use of Twitter, where he said, send me some videos and I'll voice over some play-by-play. And whichever ones I choose and do, I'll also donate money to a charity of that person's choice, of whoever's video he takes. So that, and some of you may have seen this, but this was 5 years ago now, which is crazy. It's March 24th, 2020. He did this video of me playing basketball with my son, James, who at that time was only 5 years old. He's now 10, in our living room at our old house. Here's that video.
Okay, here's Adam, pride of Chicago, teaching his son a lesson in life. Here we go. Let's roll it. The kid, first of all, strong shot, kind of the old school over the head, two-handed. Whoa, wow, back into his face, and now Adam doesn't feel so good. Sorry, I love you, kiss, life's hard, suck it up. That's just the way things work in this world. Again, beautiful shot, nothing but net. And then Adam doesn't like anybody scoring on him, and wham, bang. Oh, ow, Dad. That'll come out in therapy in about 20 to 22 years.
There it is. And Joe also made a donation to the 22Q Family Foundation, which is the genetic condition 22Q that my son was born with too. So it was all awesome. It was very, very cool of Joe to do. So anyway, I had this opportunity on Monday night to go up and say hi to him. I pulled my phone out. He was super nice. And Like I didn't even have to hit play on the video, Carm. The second I showed him that tweet, even just like he just glanced at it for 2 seconds. I know exactly what that is. He remembered it right away. Was super nice. And so I just wanted to share that story with Joe Buck because it's a good excuse just to play the video again too.
I met Joe once. I had the same experience, just him being a supreme individual, just very easygoing. That video is hysterical. Young Hoge wearing a great athletic pant, looking like just a happy Hoge in the middle of the pandemic.
Well, it was also pandemic, Hoge. None of us, come on, we were all early showered and
yeah, but
just wearing sweats every day, not allowed to go outside. It was in March of 2020.
Yeah, I kind of miss the pandemic. I loved, the pandemic was amazing. Didn't have to do anything. You got to work from home. Going to the grocery store was a little dicey for a while there, but then, you settled in. You had the Last Dance every Sunday night. Actually, it was a horrible time for me. It was but I won't go deep down into that. But there were some benefits to the pandemic. Thank you very much. And that's you were to Orange Cassidy's one. You were a Manute Bowl.
You've been on the receiving side of that block. What's that like?
That's a wild comment to make it, and I don't ever recall you swatting me. But hey. Yeah. I apparently have repressed that memory.
Knows. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to deal with that in therapy, just like James will in the next 20 to 22 years. So it'll come out at some point.
What a great comment too by Joe. Really,
that was spot on. And a great comment by Pizzatola. I thought that Hoge was playing ball with Carman.
Yeah. You got any shout outs, or we should go to super chats?
Yeah, I do actually. Just a little pivot here. Rory Spears. I don't know if a lot of people know that name, but Rory's been a reporter in the at literally every Chicago sporting event since I started getting to go to sporting events back in '97. And Rory passed away. I found out about that this morning. And he was big in the golf scene, just big sports fan, period. And I was just reading a lot of the comments on Facebook of just people talking about what a nice guy Rory was, which is exactly that is what he was. He was just a really good dude. And when you leave this world, if people are just calling you a great person, a super nice guy, that's not a bad way to go on out. It's a hell of a tribute. So just wanted to take a second to give condolences to a guy that a lot of people in the media and maybe some fans are aware of as well. Rory's really, really a first-class dude.
Yeah, it's well said. I remember back when I really was a young Hoge, when you would send me to Sox games to go get sound as an intern.
Sox and Hawks.
Yeah. The press box, Sox and Hawks. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Perfect for you.
Perfect for you too.
It was absolutely. I'll go to Cubs and Bulls and Bears. Go ahead.
You go to Sox and Hawks. But anyway, the way the press box set up at the White Sox Stadium, it's like they moved it. I don't know. That must have been 20 years ago now, from right behind home plate up into where basically the 400 level suites are, and so they're like the press box is almost divided into like suites that are open, but there's like sections. So all the radio guys are at the last one, sharing 15 square feet of space. And anyway, Rory was always he was always sitting in that area. Bruce Levine would be there. The radio, Mark Grody would be in there. But anyway, Rory, so you couldn't help but get to know the guy because you're sitting there watching, baseball game for 3 hours. And same thing. Like I didn't know Rory that well, but my memories from those times were always just could not have been, nicer to 23-year-old nobody intern from WGN radio at the time. So he will be missed.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's not that hard to be nice to guys, but when you're starting out in the business, it's not necessarily the experience that you always get. So outside of that, Hoge, one other shout out, Snidbit, moment of a Friday. You know, I don't know if I've ever mentioned on the show, but my niece, Grace Carman, 2-time All-State, going for 3-time, 2-0 today. Big game against Jones Prep. Big goal earlier this week as they took out Taft. First time I've ever been to Taft High School. Outstanding little spot there off of 90. Great environment there. But the girls' soccer season is rocking. Watch out for the Lane Tech champions. They're doing things. And yes, we're dreaming downstate this year. So let's go.
She's a superstar.
Headed to made her commitment, Brandeis University. So going to be spending some time in Beantown before she enters the transfer portal next year and gets paid zillions of dollars. That's the plan. So 1 year at Brandeis, and then then into the portal. That's what's happening.
Well, that's new. You're putting her in the portal before she even gets to the school she's supposed to go to next year.
I am.
Might as well, advance it a year.
Yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
Listen, she's going to dominate, and then we'll see who wants to step up and with the proper dollars. Well, it's side gig for me. Agent Grace Carman, Uncle Carm.
I think that's one of the problems with NIL. There's a lot of Uncle Carms involved.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna bring integrity to the transfer portal. That's my plan. Right
there
here.
You go. You're gonna. If you fix it, that'll be your what you're known for forever. Your legacy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fix on it. NIL. All right, let's get to super chats and jump into the weekend. Isaac Siegel, $5. Hey guys, Hoge, thoughts on adding Hunter Wohler at 72 for safety? Feels like a possible Brisker replacement. I like Hunter Wohler. Went to Wisconsin, that's why he's asking me about it. But you okay?
Not really, but it'll be all right.
You drop your phone?
No. It's a little bit of a.
Did you spill something?
Yeah, maybe. It could be a coffee situation going on here, but don't worry. It's only on the floor. It's not near any computer, Steven. We're all good. And we'll have a fresh brew in Studio B. But you can wrap the show at any point. That'd be great.
Well, if you need to go get something,
we're good. We're good.
He can put me on ISO and I can get through the.
No, it's okay.
Anyway, I like Hunter Wohler. I would be fine with the Bears drafting him. He's very similar to a lot of other Wisconsin defensive players who just sort of find their way around the football and play hard. Braggs in the stands, $2. I'm working, but I miss you. That's right.
Thanks, Greg.
Working so hard in the stands at Wrigley.
It's actually one of the greatest accomplishments in podcasting life. The dude just apparently came up with an idea. Why don't you just send me to Wrigley on Fridays and I'll sit in the bleachers and get drunk and that'll be my job? And they said, okay. And that's what happened. 120 Club.
It's brilliant.
It really is.
Anthony Tranchita, $4.99. Thoughts on the Bears drafting an edge rusher at 10 and a running back at 39? Sure. I'll say this. I would not take edge rusher, off the table at all at 10. Because I don't think they have the waves of pass rushers that they're looking for right now. Braggs in the stands, $5. Pretty long way to crutch to the damn visitors' dugout. But thanks, Hot Dog Bob. That goes earlier in the show. Hot Dog Bob.
Make an effort.
How is Hot Dog Bob offering up beer, though? Wouldn't it be a hot dog?
Well, it's actually the Vooch, who's a cousin of Hot Dog Bob. And the Vooch had him covered, and Braggs was too weak to crutch there, which is just soft.
Okay. Fair enough. Braggs in the stands again. $2. Rank with the reverse adorable on Carm. That is true. He did call you adorable.
That was a fun rank today.
And then Gabe Gardenier, $4.99. Hoge, Carm hurt my feelings yesterday. Now I will never have hope for Chicago sports, but I'll still listen to the podcast because CHGO is the best.
Well, he
I
said
missed that. I'll have to check it out.
He said yesterday that he's like I can't stop my excitement for all these Chicago sports teams, and I was like, what are you talking about? The Cubs are 5-4. But hey, he's fired up, man. Go Gabe. I like that belief. And there it is.
What a way to end the week.
There it is. I mean, South America has come to Studio B.
Knowing that building, there are at least 2 drips of coffee that have already gone down to the floor below.
That's a good thing that office has been vacant for a while. My bad. Sorry. That was a $4.60 coffee. This is not the time to be wasting $4.60.
You're the one who's like anti-pay more than $3 for coffee.
I am, but
that must really be bothering you then that you spilled it.
Of course it is. I just brought it up. Every cent of it. It's freaking killing me. Horrible job. I got my Heat coffee at home. My friends from Heat Coffee, they're awesome. And then I got my sip cup that I pay for, but I did none of that today. And then I paid for this, and there it is. What a terrible job.
Well, drink it off the floor.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that we have outstanding cleaning products here, and the director of garbage will be swinging into action here right after the show ends. I already took out the pizza boxes. Don't worry about it. I understand.
I mean, we really missed you when you were gone the week before.
I mean, I came in today. There was a bunch, a ton of pizza was in here yesterday. We had people coming in from all over the place helping us out this week in the setup with all these things. And, hey, and then director of garbage comes in the next day to clean up after him. No problem. I got you.
Director of garbage.
Spilled out some soda that wasn't drinking, took out 3 boxes. Yeah.
Some would say director of garbage takes.
Yeah. Steven liked that one.
I wouldn't say that. Nick Wright maybe would. Or Danny Parkins. I don't know.
Nah, those guys. Nick's too busy in the front row hugging LeBron.
Yeah, that's right. Become a diehard. allchgo.com/diehard. Great way to start your weekend. Let's let Carm go clean up his mess. Thanks to Steven for producing, as always. Thanks to the whole team. It was a busy week of content and all, the interviews and stuff, video coming in from Florida. Everybody back in Chicago did an amazing job. So I greatly appreciate it. I think all of the viewers and listeners do as well. Please hit subscribe, like the video. If you missed anything, go back and find it. It's all on our channel. Become a diehard. Get all your draft information with Fran Duffy and the draft guide. Our Bears 100 is in there as well. So you're not only getting the draft guide, you're getting our ranking of the 100 prospects specifically for the Chicago Bears. I think I got everything in there. We'll be back Monday at noon. Another week. We'll roll it right back. We are less than 3 weeks away from the NFL draft now. So we'll continue to dive in, get you all the information you need to know. We'll talk to you on Monday at noon.
We all silly like the mayor.